Welcome to the Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast. My name is Frank. I'm the host of the show. Thank you for checking it out. Today, I'm going to be discussing and reviewing Captain America Brave New World. But before I do that, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. You can find this show wherever you listen to podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. I would ask if you listen to this show, please rate and review. Any rate and reviews and the amount of those will help increase the exposure of the show. If you watch the podcast on the video stream, you can watch it on the YouTube channel, on X, on Facebook, and on Rumble. The X handle is at Bend Your Ear Pod, which is also the handle for Instagram. And if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll get notifications when the show is live. And also, I would ask if you listen or if you watch rather than listen, please rate and review there too. Again, that'll help raise the profile of the show. I don't know how the algorithms work, but I think that is extremely helpful if you can do that. You can email the show at bendyourearpodcast@gmail.com. But again, the best way to reach me is through X, again, at Bend Your Ear Pod. I'm looking on there all the time. If you have the ability to support the show financially, you can do that by clicking on the QR code here on the left. Or if you're listening to the podcast, you can go to the X feed and click on the tip jar and contribute there. That'd be greatly appreciated. All right. I'm going to discuss and review Captain America Brave New World. So obviously, this is a Marvel film, part of the DCU. And of course, for me anyway, post Avengers Endgame has been kind of, and I think it's been widely reported, it's been kind of shaky for Marvel creatively. I think financially successful wise, of course, obviously the one exception is Deadpool versus Wolverine, which I have not seen yet. I know it's been since last summer. I may or may not review for the podcast. I haven't decided. I haven't watched it yet. I may at some point. But that's been the most successful by far, I think, post Endgame. And then probably I would throw in there Guardians of the Galaxy 3, another one which I have not seen. I've seen Ant-Man, Quantumania, and obviously that I liked it, I think, more than other people did. But obviously, since that movie came out, the whole Kang storyline was blown up because of obviously the issues of actor Jonathan Majors being dropped as Kang. So obviously that whole storyline was scrapped for what they're doing now with Secret Wars and Doomsday, with, of course, Robert Downey Jr. returning to Marvel as Doctor Doom. So we'll see what happens. I know we've got Thunderbolts coming out shortly, and then after that is going to be Fantastic Four in the summer. So Captain America, obviously, Captain America was previously played by Chris Evans. And of course, for me personally, in the top 3 DCU movies is Captain America Winter Soldier. The second Captain America film, which is still one of my favorite Marvel films, one of my favorite movies, period. It's a fantastic movie. An action thriller, political thriller. You had Robert Redford, great as the bad guy. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's probably number 2 for me behind Iron Man, the original Iron Man. That's how highly I think of that film. So, of course, Civil War is good too. But definitely I think Winter Soldier is the top. So obviously at the end of Endgame, obviously, no spoilers. If you haven't seen Endgame by now, I got nothing for you. But obviously, Chris Evans, the actor, has handed over both the role to Anthony Mackie to be the new Captain America. So obviously, this film takes place after that fact. He is now Captain America. As the movie opens, Thaddeus Ross, who in the previous films that character has appeared in, was played by the late actor William Hurt. Thaddeus is elected president of the United States, and in this new film is played by Harrison Ford. So he becomes president of the United States, and of course he's had his issues with Captain America, and of course now with the new Captain America played again by Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. So he is having issues with Thaddeus, but there are multiple issues going on, and Thaddeus summons Sam to assist in an operation to get some classified items that were stolen. So Sam goes with his new protege, who is now, of course, the new Falcon, Joaquin Torres, played by Danny Ramirez. So he goes after trying to obtain these illegally stolen items. So Sidewinder is the person that stole them. He's played by Giancarlo Esposito, of course, famous for Breaking Bad, who's actually fantastic in this movie. He's always fantastic. So that's not a surprise as well. And that's the setup for the film. Then after that, Thaddeus, as president, is trying to get a summit going because a new metal has been discovered called adamantium that he wants to have all countries have control over to keep everything peaceful. And of course, Thaddeus Ross's character has been portrayed in the previous films as a ruthless person. In this movie, his arc is that he's somewhat changed, or he's telling people he's changed. And also he's estranged, of course, from his daughter, which happened a long time ago. So he's estranged from her. And his daughter is, of course, Betty Ross. And we have actually Liv Tyler coming back into the DCU playing this character. Obviously, she was originally in the Incredible Hulk back in 2008 when Edward Norton was playing Banner Hulk. So it was good to kind of see her come back. She's, it's basically an extended cameo. She's not in the movie a whole lot, but obviously he's trying to repair that relationship with her as well. So that's basically the main tenets of this particular plot. And let me start with what I like. This is an interesting review for me, and I'll get to why in a little bit. But let me start with what I like. So I'm going to start. The biggest thing about this film that I liked is the acting all the way around was very good. I know there's been some criticism of Anthony Mackie. He's fine to me. I don't think he's great or bad. I think he's fine. He's adequate in this role. I don't have an issue with him per se. As I stated a minute ago, Giancarlo Esposito is fantastic in this movie. And you have Liv Tyler for her short role. And then one of my favorite people in this movie, and this goes back to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier television series. So they introduced Carl Lumbly. Now, if you don't know him, he's a fantastic actor that I've watched since the 80s. He was in Cagney and Lacey, and he was actually, ironically, in a superhero television show called Mantis, which he was the lead in. And in this film and in the TV series, he plays Isaiah Bradley, who was an African-American Korean War veteran and original super soldier. He was imprisoned and experimented on for 30 years. So obviously not before, because he was obviously, that would be after Steve Rogers, but his character arc on the show and in this movie is fantastic. And he's just a great actor. So I was happy that they brought him back. He's actually framed for an assassination attempt on Thaddeus. His mind, of course, we find out it's under mind control. And then we have Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stearns, who is the main antagonist in this film. All fantastic, all great actors. So they surrounded Anthony Mackie with fantastic actors, and Harrison Ford as Thaddeus is good. He's good. He's always good. What I like is you can see he's enjoying doing the role. He's all in on it. It's obviously a different vibe than William Hurt, but he's finding it as well. And obviously, this is not a spoiler. Obviously, he's got an issue, and of course, that leads to the appearance of Red Hulk later in the movie. And I'm saying this now because they literally put this in the trailer. It's literally not a spoiler, so I don't have an issue discussing that right now. So again, the acting is fantastic in this movie. That's what I really liked about it. And the acting is what really kept the movie kind of, at least interesting to continue to watch. That being said, and this is why this particular review is kind of weird for me, because I think it's the first time I reviewed a movie with this type of specific issue. So my issue with the movie, and I think this is the issue with Marvel movies in general post Endgame, is there's action. Yes, there's, the adamantium is an element. It almost kind of reminds you of vibranium from Wakanda via Black Panther, kind of what that is. So it's kind of derivative or similar to that. And of course, Black Panther is a fantastic movie. But here, it just my issue with this movie, and it's a big one, is that the plot just doesn't pop for me. It doesn't, even though there's things that are at stake, it doesn't feel like they're heavy or important enough to make you engage or really care, to be honest with you. The plot is just there, for lack of a better term. It's just, you know, Sam is running around trying to figure everything out. He's trying to rescue Isaiah to get him, from being framed. He's dealing with with Stearns as the antagonist to stop him from what he's trying to do. And then obviously they weave in the third act of the movie, Red Hulk and what happens there and why that happens, and kind of dynamic behind that. It's all just there. That's really the best. I wish I could give you a more insightful criticism other than that the plot is just there. It just never seemed like there were high stakes for me. It just didn't. And that really hampers this movie a lot. And it's a shame because, like I said, the acting was really good. And as I'm watching the movie, I'm not hating what I'm watching. I'm not going that this movie is hot garbage. Like I haven't reviewed Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I have not reviewed that movie for this podcast. I may do it at some point in the future, but let me just tease whenever that episode will come out. I absolutely hated that movie. Hated it. So spoiler alert, if I do a show on that, it is not going to be a good review. It's just, I hated it. Captain America I have nowhere near that issue with that. I did not hate this movie. I was more disappointed in this movie, which is a different thing. Hating it outright is almost even better because it's like it was just never good for me to begin with, and whatever. Here, I was looking forward to seeing what they were going to do with Red Hulk, with Anthony Mackie now taking over the role, because that's a tough deal when you have an actor identify with that, with Chris Evans. But again, it's a shame. And I feel bad because, like I said, I loved the supporting acting all the way through, and they give it their all. Nobody seems like they're phoning in a performance. Nobody seems like they're trying to get a paycheck, and that's a high compliment. I really enjoyed the acting in this movie. I just wish the plot would have served them better. I wish the plot and the script would have risen to the level of the actors they chose to play these roles. And again, I forgot Julia Louis-Dreyfus has a small part, playing her role again. I forgot her name off the top of my head, but she's in it shortly as well. Everybody's great. The actors are really, really good. And like I said, it's a real shame that the plot didn't do them justice. So like I said, you get to the end of the movie, there's nothing there that you feel is truly at stake, to the level of an Endgame or an Infinity War, or like I said, or Winter Soldier, or the best of the DCU movies, whichever ones you think they are. This movie's missing that piece of it. And like I said, I think it's been a struggle, and I think, everyone can say it has been a struggle post Endgame. And like I said, with the unexpected issue with Kang and that whole storyline being pretty much scrapped, and them having to kind of pivot to where they are now. Let's hope that the movies coming forward, like I said, I'll be checking them out. But again, I think it's a sign of a struggle that they've had. Now, I haven't seen Eternals, haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, so I haven't seen the Marvel, so there's quite a few that I've not watched that, of course, I'm assuming are forwarding this bigger storyline, and it's been inconsistent. And I think I've seen this movie. I'm without seeing the other ones. I think that this is probably one of the better ones, but unfortunately, that's a pretty low bar to hit at this point. So unfortunately, it may be better. It doesn't make it great. Now, one other criticism, which is not too relevant to the movie, is of course there's a post-credits sequence, and I won't say what it is. You can watch it if you watch the movie, which I was like, they're usually exciting or something that you are excited to find out about that's going to be coming down the pike. And this one was just a giant nothing burger. Like, it was literally one of the worst post-credits sequences I've ever seen. I was like, what? I was watching the movie with my son, and he's like, what was that? So again, a disappointing. Even that part of it's disappointing. Usually, that's something you can have some excitement about if you're a fan of these movies. But again, my hope would be that, and I'm not sure. I saw the trailer for Thunderbolts. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I don't know. It seemed to be okay, but I don't know. And then I know with Fantastic Four, they're giving it that '60s vibe, and maybe that'll be something to look forward to. But it's been a rough go, I think, creatively for Marvel. And look, it was bound to happen. They had an unbelievable run through Endgame, so I think it was inevitable that they were gonna hit a rough patch where they were gonna struggle. And of course, with DC Studios, that's been to say that's been an up and down whirlwind is an understatement. So obviously, they're in their own situation as well. Obviously, they're ramping up the television shows, and of course, Superman is coming out in July. So we'll see how that plays out once the James Gunn Superman comes out. And because, like I said, you listen online, everybody's just ready to destroy that movie before it's come out. And I've posted out this online. I find it very funny, and I know I don't even want to get into Zack Snyder, DC. The people that love him, the people that hate him. It's just it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's tiresome, and I don't really care that much. I don't care either way. I don't have a dog in that fight. I don't have a faction. I just want these studios, when it comes to these comic book movies, to release good movies. I don't really care who the creative visionary is behind them, as long as the movies don't suck. And I just find it funny that you know Superman trailers come out, and there's just a group of people, and it's extreme on both sides too. Sidebar a little bit, and then we'll get back to Captain America. To it's both sides of it. It's the side of that anything about Superman coming out they can't stand: the costume, the actor, the humor, the doll. I mean, whatever it is they want to pick apart. And then, of course, you have the other side of the extreme people that want nothing to do with the previous regime, and then they chime in about how this will be the best Superman movie ever, and it looks phenomenal, and both sides are irritating. The movie has not come out yet. We've seen a small trailer, so why don't we wait till the movie? Just me speculating. Why don't we just wait? The movie will come out. Everybody can go watch the movie, and then we can all comment on the movie after we've seen it. Not by a minute and a half, or I don't even know how long that teaser trailer is. Okay? It's insane how people have already come to a decision before the movie has come out. And this is not just with Superman, this is with a lot of movies, especially in the comic book arena. People make up their minds before they see the movie. And why don't we just wait? Then we can all see together, and then we can all have our opinions about it. Because the thing that's funny is the people that hate Superman, James Gunn, and the people that love Superman, James Gunn, when the movie comes out, I think neither side is going to change their opinion. They're going to overhate it, and they're going to overpraise it, where the truth, like everything else, is probably somewhere in the middle. Now, for me, what I look for in any movie, like I said, what the thing I'm rooting for is this movie, or any movie that I'm excited about seeing, that I go in July and see Superman, and that it blows me away. Now, for me, I have my own biases. For myself, is nothing will ever top Richard Donner's original Superman. It just won't happen. So I have my own bias that I bring to the table too, but not to the point where if James Gunn makes an excellent Superman movie, that I won't be blown away by, like, wow, this is incredible. It would be, I can never see myself putting another Superman movie above that one, but I can definitely see myself going into a Superman movie that's fantastically done and being super excited that there's another Superman movie that I can watch again, other than the Richard Donner Superman from 1978. So even with my own dog in the hunt with that, I'm open to that movie being great. Hopefully it is. That's what I want. I don't want the movie to suck. I'm not trolling to hate movies. If I don't like a movie, it's because I watched it and didn't like it, not because I didn't like the director or didn't like it. I take the movie as it is and like it or dislike it. And that's just how I do it. And I think that's how most critics should do it, or people that comment on movies, especially on film Twitter, which is insanity. As much as I love film Twitter and I interact with a whole bunch of people that are not insane, there's a lot of insanity going on when it comes to this dialogue, or this kind of this discourse about these particular movies. So again, I digress. Back to Captain America: Brave New World. So as I stated, I really love the acting in the film, and like I said, it's unfortunate that the script didn't rise to the level of the actors in the movie, and that's, like I said, that's a debilitating issue for me for this movie. So based on that, I'm going to go ahead and give Captain America: Brave New World 2.5 stars out of 5. So again, the reasons I gave it that low of a review is, well, as I just stated, the story just didn't really do much for me. Excuse me, sorry. The story just didn't do that much. The 2.5 stars is all for the acting. The acting saved it for me, probably even giving it a lower review. Now, I know some people did enjoy Captain America: Brave New World, and that's great. And like I said, the movie is not awful. It's just, for me, I can't recommend it unless you're going in for the actors. So it's a tough one for me, because I don't even know if I'd recommend it. I would recommend probably maybe you check it out when it hits streaming. If you watch it on a Friday night on home on TV, I think that'll be fine. I think you'll probably enjoy it. But again, I can't honestly recommend it to go to the theaters and see it. I'm glad I saw it in the theaters, because those movies like that are fun to see on a big screen. So I don't regret going. And like I said, I don't regret that I got to see the wonderful actors do really good work. It's just that the script really betrayed them, and it's unfortunate. So that's why I'm going to go with 2.5 stars out of 5 for Captain America: Brave New World. Hopefully, I know at the end of the film, they say Captain America will return. I'm assuming they mean in the Avengers movies that are coming out. I don't know if they meant another solo Captain America movie. I don't know if that's going to happen. Haven't seen any plans, yes or no, on that. So we'll see ultimately how this ends up when it's out of theaters, as far as box office returns versus the budget. I don't know if there's going to be another solo one. I mean, I wouldn't be against it. Like I said, I think Anthony Mackie's fine. And like I said, I think they tried hard on this one. And like I said, the casting was the best part of it, and very, very strong. So again, like I said, it was unfortunate that the script didn't rise to that level. Again, so I want to thank everybody for listening. Again, you can reach the show at Bend Your Ear podcast at gmail.com. The website is letmebendyourear.com. All the episodes are available there if you want to get them directly from the website. You can listen to this podcast, again, wherever you get your podcast. Please rate and review and subscribe. If you go there, that'll help the show get more exposure. And of course, again, the video avenues for the show are YouTube, X, Facebook, and Rumble. So you can find Let Me Bend Your Ear podcast anywhere on one of those platforms. And if you watch the show, again, please rate and review there, subscribe, so you'll get notifications when new episodes become available. You'll get a notification when a show goes live. And again, if you can support the show, QR code right up here on the right. And you can also go to the X page at Bend Your Ear Pod and click on the tip jar. That will really help offset the cost of putting on the show. And again, I want to thank everybody that's been listening and watching. I really appreciate it. And if you have any feedback, please let me know. Again, the best place to reach me would be on X. And I want to thank everyone again. Still trying to get more consistent on getting these episodes out. I finally at the point now, I've been watching a bunch of movies back to back to back. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to get shows in the queue so that I'll have consistent output of episodes. I'm going to try. I've got a new system now of how I watch movies and then do this show. So hopefully my goal in the next couple of months is to get 2 episodes out a week. Hopefully on Sundays and on Thursdays at 6 p.m. they'll get released. That's the goal I'm trying to set for myself now, to have 2 episodes a week at Sunday, 6 p.m., Thursday, 6 p.m. So look out for those in your feeds. Again, any feedback is appreciated. And again, I may do a Patreon at some point. If you have any suggestions on what you think would be worth paying for, and what would you like me to provide on a Patreon? Reviews of specific movies you pick, merchandise, something exclusive that you can't get on the free feed. So let me know any feedback. I would appreciate. So again, I'm going to wrap up the show with my review of Captain America: Brave New World. I've given that movie 2.5 stars out of 5. And like I said, I'll be back very soon with a new episode. Hopefully it'll be dropping twice a week, Sundays and Thursdays.